I will now bring it up to, I am sure anyone who's in the streaming business or in the live production business has heard of a small company called NewTek. And our next presenters are Robert Brown and Chris Burgos from NewTek, who will be telling us a little bit more about the TriCaster 2 Elite. And they're giving away a TriCaster 2. No, okay, they're not actually giving away a TriCaster 2 Elite. I don't want two guys going, no.
We're hoping that'd be the case.
All right. They are going to give away a chance to win NewTek University course package for NewTek Certified Operator valued at $3,000. So, and I know you get listed on a website if you are a NewTek Certified Operator. And when people look for, I need a NewTek operator, having the certification really does make a difference as opposed to, yeah, I know a guy who says he knows NewTek versus I am a NewTek Certified Operator. So that does make a difference in getting work. Thank you, Chi Hong Yim, for chiming into the chat. And with that, Robert and Chris, I will let you take it.
Hey everybody, Chris Burgos here with NewTek. I'm with my associate Robert Brown. We have a lot to discuss, and we also want to keep things kind of breezy and easy moving. I'm going to talk about the TC2, which if you haven't heard of, is a really powerful production tool that we have. I could do this in a couple of ways, but I kind of just want to get into the meat of what makes TC2 unique. After we're done showcasing TC2, we will get to probably the coolest thing that you have seen in a while, which is going to be Ndi Bridge, and we're going to have Robert walk you guys through that. We're going to have questions going. Robert will sort of look at Q&A while I'm talking, and then when Robert's giving the Ndi Bridge demo, we're going to showcase, I'll sort of take over for Q&A. But right now, I actually want to showcase the full extent of the TC2. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring you into my production environment. I'm going to share my system. Here is my TC2 Elite. The TC2 Elite is one of the most complete live production systems on the planet, with streaming, remote capabilities, video playback, and a whole list of features that you guys are probably already know about. But the one we really want to highlight is the capabilities for us to integrate with things like Zoom and Teams via Live Call Connect. And so I'm going to demonstrate that for you very quickly. So first I'm going to go. And actually, my TriCaster has a lot of monitors. This is a very NDI intensive demo, so we're going to move through it very quickly. But here is what most of your productions look like today. I have some people on a Zoom call, and I want to sort of elevate that from where we've been. The last year and a half has been working with these virtual meeting room applications, things like Zoom, Teams. We have some free ones like Slack and Discord. And this is the sort of powerful tools that we present in the TriCaster to make this kind of production very easy. So here I have the application. It just looks like the normal Zoom application. You're actually installing that application on your TriCaster 2. And with 2 button presses, I click the live button. And then you'll have to excuse me as I'm not familiar with working the Zoom interface. I'm going to assign my callers to inputs. Those 2 button presses allows me to go into my TriCaster and treat these as independent sources. We're going to briefly ignore what's going on in my preview for those of you who are very well versed in TriCaster. That's going to be part of Robert's demo, but I can switch to these individuals as if they were cameras, like my PTZ camera is. I have a bunch of sources in my TriCaster all coming through NDI. This ease of use in TriCaster 2 Elite is going to save so much time from production perspective. It is 2 button presses. It's very easy to implement, and it's taking care of your video workflow and your audio workflow. By default, these applications have a conversation going on between a couple of people. We will allow all that audio to come in mixed via the application and provide the mix minus audio. So we're taking care of the audio workflow. And then from a video perspective, you now have the full video capacity of your TriCaster to produce your show. I'm going to give you an example. I have a show set up here, and you can see I'm speaking with my 2 guests, but I can also focus on my 2 guests, highlight a guest, incorporate another feed if I had one. So all of these production flexibilities are really unique to what's going on in the TC2. And I think if you've not seen or used Live Call Connect, it would be a big help. I think we have another presenter in our call. So Benjamin, you're coming up next. So sorry about that. So this ease of flexibility is one of the big beauties of what we released with the TriCaster 2 Elite. The TriCaster 2 has a large amount of production features, and we could certainly go through all of them. High input count at 32 NDI inputs, all in 4K, 8 individual outputs in 1080, 2 outputs in 4K, or I can mix and match, multiple stream outs, full remote capacity. And as we talk about remote capabilities, I'm doing all of my NewTek control, my TriCaster control from my computer. We're going to turn that up a notch in just a few minutes here when we talk about Ndi Bridge. But everything we've done in the last 6 years of NDI development is ready and available to you with your TC2 Elite. Advanced graphics packages with live graphics. We have 4 DDR capacity. We have multiple audio channels with a large scale of inputs. So 8 channels of audio per input. Massive routing table to really increase the way we're doing our productions. And this is just an ultra flexible tool. And if you haven't seen a TC2 Elite before, I highly recommend doing some digging deeper. You can reach out to NewTek. We can do these demonstrations. But that live call connect feature, which supports Teams, Zoom, Discord, Slack, and a few other applications, is just super slick and easy. So if you're trying to do these productions today and you want to do this very simply, Live Call Connect really solves that use case. And last but not least, I just want to go over a couple final points. It can support up to 9 callers of video. So it can give you up to the sort of the Brady Bunch 3x3. It is working within the confines of the application. So for instance, on Zoom, you can actually separate your presentation mode from your callers. We'll actually allow you to do that in Live Call Connect. And lastly, it really is super functional in the sense that we use this application for a lot of different call-in apps, and we are constantly getting feedback from you guys. So Live Call Connect is evolving. It has evolved through the process with these different call-in management softwares, Teams and Zoom, as those guys sort of compete. We've actually updated Live Call Connect to support more and more of what they're doing. So I think you guys will be super happy to be using this in your productions. The TriCaster 2 Elite really, really shines in this sort of remote and hybrid workflow we have. We can have local NDI sources and remote NDI sources, or remote callers from around the world. And that, everything I've just talked about, predates what Robert's about to introduce with Ndi Bridge. All of this was happening in your facility. I could use this as an on-prem system. So I could have this in San Antonio, for instance, my TriCaster can be, and I can have access to all of these feature sets via remote connection, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm controlling my TriCaster from my computer. I see that the chat has sort of got a couple blips on it. I want to pass this over as, we sort of touched upon a couple of features of TC2 Elite, and I actually want to let Robert discuss what is going on with our NDI5 bridge application. And I need to
There's a lot of things that you can do with the TriCaster as well that's going to be able to allow you to make the most out of it, get the actual power and performance out of the TriCaster system. We have the built-in streaming features as well that's going to allow you to stream to most of the websites out there, like YouTube and Twitch and Facebook as well. So just having a system where that's all integrated in one really gives you a strong PowerPoint to start with. But then when you combine it with a great solution like we have now, which of course is NDI, which has been around for in its current form of 5-6 years. We are now on NDI version 5 that was just released a little while ago. And it is now including a bundle load of new features in there that's going to give you more intelligence within that NDI IP video feed, as well as more capabilities as we move forward in what you can actually do with a production when you're using NDI. For those of you who haven't heard of NDI, and I'm pretty sure almost all of you have, it is a true IP-based video workflow. This gets rid of all these old copper cables we've had laying around. Don't have to worry about HDMI connections, and just about anything that you already have out there, whether it be copper, HDMI, we can also convert that into NDI. But today, one of the biggest things we wanted to talk about that's going to help out when you're doing a presentation, especially in the streaming realm, is the release of NDI Bridge. So the reason why NDI Bridge is so popular, or is about ready to be popular and really kind of knock everyone's socks off here, is simply because one of the biggest issues we've had with NDI over the past few years is that we haven't had that capability to have a remote source someplace else, whether it be across town in the other state or across the country, or maybe even around the world. Making NDI available via the public internet and through IP has been very tough when it's outside of your building. Ndi Bridge is now actually filling that gap. I'm going to share my screen with you real quick here and show you the app as it is right now. We just released this officially. I think it was Thursday. I think we did the official.
Last Thursday.
Yep. For Ndi Bridge. And as you can see, it's a nice little compact app. It's extremely easy to use. And we've been using it right now. When you saw me on Chris's TriCaster, as he was walking you through some of the features there in the Live Call Connect, you may have saw me on one of his inputs. You may have saw me on preview. That's because right now he's in New Jersey. I'm here in beautiful St. Pete, Florida. And with almost no delay at all whatsoever, he has access to all of my NDI sources that are on my network. And I have access to all of his NDI sources that are on his network. Setting it up as simply as going to ndi.tv and downloading NDI tools. NDI tools luckily are free, and we make those and distribute those free across the board. And they have a lot of different apps within the NDI's tools family that you can use to really improve your workflow. Converting your webcam into an NDI feed, converting your desktop computer screen into an NDI feed, and apps such as Bridge. Right now, what I'm doing for the purpose of this demonstration is I was actually functioning as the host. So Chris dialed into my system from up in New Jersey, and all I needed to do was simply click on my little host square, and it will already populate the information that you need to be a host. So it doesn't require doing a lot of research or anything like that. It will resolve the name of the actual computer, which is based on the computer you're working on. It then provides you with your public IP address, which is how the joining app will find you on the internet. And then it also tells you what port you'll be operating on. And it even does a little quick test to try and help you out, let you know if that port is in fact properly being routed within your switch or not. And you might have to do some port forwarding in your switch that would involve like your IT team or whoever is your network IT guru, just to make sure that that port can get back to the machine that Bridge is running on. And then below that is the encryption key. And without that encryption key, no one else can connect to your NDI session. So for those of you who get a little concerned sometimes about security and whether or not you're actually going to have somebody else being able to get into your network, it's highly unlikely that you would have a situation where somebody would just be able to randomly connect to your Bridge app running on your computer. And on top, once you stop the Bridge app and close it, of course, it can't actually have any other connections. If you are joining into an already existing Bridge app, you simply click on the join icon that's represented by the little clouds and the guys there. And then you can just put in the information, the IP address, the port, and the encryption key. And you should then be able to connect to your remote source. It could be a home source, or you could have multiple bridges all working together, connecting to multiple different sites. One of the tests we just did here recently is we actually had two of the sales engineers here at NewTek connecting to one common host in the middle. And we were actually able to see all three of our NDI sources across those different connections. We also have the ability of changing the encoder settings, so you can do the Bridge connection with a very high quality NDI feed, or if you're running into a situation where you have a maybe a lower bandwidth connection or something along those lines, then you can actually go into the encoder settings and adjust the encoder settings. Today, we're only operating at 5 megabits, which I know seems a little low, but what you're actually going to be notices there when I bring up Chris here in a minute, he looks great, even over 5 megabits. For those of you who have been working with, for example, Twitch, Twitch only maxes out at 6, and you'd be surprised how clear and good the signal looks on a Twitch feed at even 6 megabits. But you can go higher than that if you have a larger set of bandwidth available to you. So I'm just opening up right now my studio monitor, again, another one of those NDI tools. And what I'm looking at right now is actually Chris's switcher he has in New Jersey. Again, I'm in Florida, he's in New Jersey. I can come up here, turn on my KVM control, and simply just take sources on his switcher just about as accurately as if I was controlling the switcher right there locally. You can notice that if I bring up my source, which is input 4 here, and then, there's not really much of a delay. It's pretty accurate going back and forth. You can notice that, and we were finding out today that our audio delay was wasn't even negligible. It was actually great. And it's really nice to see that kind of functionality when you're working with a product like this, because there is going to be all kinds of things. You're going to be worried about delay. You're going to be worried about picture quality. As I was mentioning, I can bring up the interface to his switcher. I can also go back into the bridge object within my studio monitor, which this would show up in any NDI source dropdown. So what you're seeing right here in front of me, and I'm getting to have access to all his sources, would then be available too within your TriCaster software, or within a third-party piece of software that utilizes NDI, or any other third-party product that is utilizing at least NDI HX and higher, should be available to you within the bridge application.
Hey, Robert,
so, yes.
I think we're good. I think we've given them enough. I want to give some Q&A time because we got, I know there's going to be some questions that happen with regards to this, but thank you for the explanation. We ran through this pretty quickly. I could have just given the bridge demo over. And Rob, if you want to just kill the screen share, and we will just do some Q&A back and forth.
All right. Well, the first question, the last question in is from Baker Cleveland. He says, how much bandwidth does each NDI connection need, and how many connections can you have before losing quality through the cloud?
So when Robert was showing the UI, there's the ability to set the encode per NDI feed. So as many as your pipe will handle effectively. There's two network pipes on each side, right? So you're worrying about the upload. For instance, on my side, I only have 30 up, right? So between the call, any other ambient network traffic, and my NDI feeds, those are my limitations, right? So this is why we're sort of constrained. Me and Robert did a bunch of different tests, different ones. Visual quality is pretty great regardless, but we put ours at 5 meg so that the NDI feeds would come through just fine. So you could vary that, and that's the price per channel that you're bringing through.
Right. So if you happen to live in a town where you've got Google Fiber and you got a gig up, gig down, you're awesome. If you're in a place like Chris and me, yeah, not as good. Another great question came in. How many callers as inputs can that Zoom feed handle?
9. We can do 9 callers via any application. So that's Zoom, Teams, Discord, Slack, the Tencent client, and hopefully more in the future.
All right. And NDI Bridge versus SRT. Ooh,
sure.
Which
I think
compare and contrast those.
These things serve different masters, right? As Robert pointed out with Bridge, it's sort of like hub and spoke, right? For one person starts the NDI Bridge and everyone else joins on, and then we have full NDI between all our pieces. When we're doing the secure, reliable transport stuff, we're doing a bunch of parameters and setting that stream out. And so I think you're going to see different use cases for different applications. The one thing I'll say in a benefit for NDI and Bridge is it's NDI. I know this seems like an understatement, and I've been at NewTek since NDI first existed. So I sat in on that very first NDI demonstration and concept. I had Dr. Cross and explained to me and other members of the team about this, and my mind was blown. And when I actually started to use Bridge, the concepts that we started out talking about day one with NDI are now realized, because it is the last 6 years of NDI development. Every little touch note is now highlighted. The fact that you can incorporate audio into NDI, well, a lot of people probably use Dante or other audio IP standards. Well, now you have a reason to encapsulate an NDI, because you can now take that audio from one site to another site and just bring it over with that NDI setup. It's so simple. Things like the ability to key in the video quality that we have coming through. When Robert and I first did this connection, which was a few weeks ago, I was just reliving this entire moment of just like the epiphany that is NDI in your hands. And now that Bridge is released, the opportunities that are out there are amazing. And so if you haven't trusted out, I highly recommend getting it. It's free. This is a free thing. There's no monthly cost to NewTek. There's no hidden fees. The only cost is your network connection and what 2 systems you want to deploy. And you could be using NDI Bridge right now. We linked it before, ndi.tv. If you want to elevate your production game, we highly recommend pairing NDI with the TriCaster. But there are so many NDI tools, and we have a bunch of great members of our third party who have been on these calls already. All of that can benefit from these bridge-based workflows. And so I look forward to seeing what you guys do and how you guys push the envelope.
All right. I want to get to this giveaway of the TriCaster 2 Elite. And no, I'm kidding. Before somebody goes, I didn't get my TriCaster. No, once again, it is a NewTek University course package, certified operator, Tom O'Mara, Tom O'Mara, jump into the chat, say hello. Colin Sandy says, I'll take 3. I want to thank you guys for doing that. I know 20 minutes is not enough time to talk about, either one of these things. And you try to talk about both of them in 20 minutes. So we need to have like an hour long at Streaming Media East. Hey, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. Let's do that. Once again, Tom O'Mara, you are the winner of the NewTek University course package. Thank you, guys.